Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. In this lesson we're continuing on with the pause script. Now here's where we'd left off in the last lesson. We'd assigned the input and was able to turn the pause on and off, although we can't see any difference, and that's because these two functions are not filled out as yet. So that's what we're going to do in this lesson. But I'm actually going to change something here. I'm going to create a separate button for the pause function. Now you don't have to do this, you can leave yours as the escape, which is the cancel in your input. But unfortunately for testing this isn't very good because all it does is unlock my cursor from screen while we're actually building the game. So just for testing purposes I'm going to bump up my size by 1 and we'll just create a pause button and we'll make the positive button equal to P. So just increase, rename to pause, positive button P, and then we can just copy this into here. And we'll just get rid of that and we'll just save that for the moment. And as always, before we continue on, let's get the debug logs in place. So we want debug.log, open and close the line off, speech marks, and we'll just use the name of the void. And we'll copy this line, we'll paste it in below and just swap out the name. And if we save that there and downsize, we'll hit play and it may just take a moment while it finishes recompiling. Okay, let's clear the console. Now as we can see here, game not paused is running. If we hit P and I bring the cursor down, game not paused now is not running and game paused is. But obviously it's not making any difference to the game running as yet, if I stop that there, because we need to fill out these functions. So let's get on and do that now. So for the game paused, we want time dot and we want time scale. And we're going to set this equal to 0 and close the line off. And we'll put it into the comments. So we'll say set time scale to 0. And we'll come to the next line. So the time scale, the normal default time scale is 1. And you can set any time scale you like, but we want no time running when we're paused. So we just set it to 0. And it really is that simple. I'm going to kill the audio. So I'm going to type in audio listener dot volume and we'll make this equal to 0 and close line off. Into the comments. Set audio listener to 0. And the audio listener works exactly the same as the time scale. It normally operates at a value of 1, but we're setting it to 0 because I don't want any audio when the game's paused. If you want the audio to keep running, that's up to you, but I'm going to kill mine when we go into the paused state. And we want cursor dot and we want cursor dot visible and we want this to be equal to true. Close the line off. Into the comments, so we'll say make cursor visible. And we do this. If we come here, we've set it to false on startup, so we can't see the cursor. because when we're playing the game we don't want to see the mouse arrow. However, when we pause we do want to see the mouse arrow, because we'll have various buttons in the pause screen and we want to be able to click on them, so we need our mouse cursor visible. And we'll come to the next line and we'll say cursor dot, and we want LockState is going to be equal to, and we want cursor lock mode none, and we'll close the line off into the comments. So we'll say, in fact, let's just say unlock cursor from screen, and obviously we need the cursor to be unlocked so we can actually move the mouse cursor around the screen. And that's it for stopping the game when we are paused. So let's just copy this and we'll change what needs to be changed. So we'll change timescale and audio listener back to 1 if the game's not paused. And we'll change this in the comments and we'll put, I'm going to say 2.1 and in brackets I'm going to say default, and we'll just copy that and we'll paste it in the line below. And I'll just fix that little typo there, just bear with me, and above as well. And now we want the cursor not to be visible, so we'll set that to false, and we'll just put in not visible, and we'll change the line below in the comments just to say lock cursor to screen, and we just need to change the cursor mode to locked. And we'll just save that off there for the moment. And we just have a few more things we're going to put into this block. And what we're going to do is come here. And if you remember from the void update, if paused is true, we set the other bool, this one here, if the pause is active or not, to true. Now, we want to set it to false, but I'm going to put it here at the bottom, and I'll explain why in a moment. So we'll say underscore is pause active equal false, close the line off. Straight into the comments we'll say set is pause active to false. And then I'm going to come right at the very top, just below the debug log, and I'm going to put if open brackets is pause active double equals false. We'll close the line off and we can just enter, no need to close off here. We'll say return and then we'll close, and we'll put this into the comment. So we'll say if underscore is pause active is equal to false. We'll come to the next line and we'll say then do nothing and return, and we'll save that off there. So the reason we put these 3 lines of code, them two there and this one, is for this reason. Okay, we've been paused, we're in a paused state. We come to this state, game is not paused, which is going to be the default for the game, obviously. But we don't want all this code running all the time in game. So when we come to game paused. So here we set it to true. Remember, it's set to false on startup. If we pause the game, it's set to true. When we unpause the game then, and we come to this block, to begin with, it's going to skip over this because it's still going to be true. It will then read these 4 lines of code. It will then set it to false, and when it comes back to the start of the block, it's now false when it tries to read through for a second time, so it does nothing and returns. So therefore these 4 lines are no longer continuously being read. And yes, we saved off. Let's downsize Mono Develop and we'll hit play. And remember, we have no GUI in place, so you're just going to see the game freeze for now, but at least we can check, see if everything's working. And in fact, I'll highlight the game manager so we can see the ball here, and we'll hit pause. And as you can see, I cannot move. You probably can hear me tapping the keys. I can still look around with the mouse, but as you can see, the cursor is now visible. And if I hit P again, the game starts to work and I can move again. If I get the enemy to chase, as you can see, I've paused and look, the game has frozen. If I unpause, everything works again, and we'll stop it there. Now, I know the pause is not ideal at the moment, but that's because we have more work to do. I know the cursor is not ideal, but once we get the GUI in place and the camera locked and we can just move around on a GUI screen, everything will be fine. So please don't worry, we have more work to do, and hopefully by the time we've done it all, we should have a very good working pause system. So as I said, we'll leave it here for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time, and until then, as always, bye for now.